Hello and thanks for joining us on NTA International News at this hour. I am Dennis Adegunloye. Let's begin with the headlines. Nigeria signs instrument of ratification of the Doha amendments of the Kyoto Protocol. Nigeria Immigration Service introduces new visa fees for countries. Advertising in Nigeria henceforth to ensure 40% localized content in products. Plus, more sectoral reports as Nigeria celebrates 60 years of independence. And now for the details. The Nigeria Immigration Service has introduced new visa fees as approved by the Minister of Interior, Rauf Aregbesola. An official statement by the Service Public Relations Officer, Sunday James, says the Controller General of the Nigeria Immigration Service, Mohammed Babandide, directs that the new visa fees approved are in consonance with the principles of reciprocity. The Controller General is inviting stakeholders, concerned authorities and individuals to visit the official website of the service, www.immigration.gov.ng, for full details of the new visa fees for all countries and categories of applicants. The service, the statement adds, will commence the implementation of the Nigeria Visa Policy 2020, launched on the 4th of February 2020 by President Mahatma Buhari from 1st of October 2020. President Mahatma Buhari has signed the instrument of ratification of the Doha Amendment of the Kyoto Protocol. Announcing the developments in Kaduna, Ministry of Environment, Dr. Muhammad Mahmoud Abubakar said Nigeria is the 144th country to sign the treaty. Muhammad Umarajingi reports.
Affects many nations, with developing countries suffering more, even though they are lesser emitters of the greenhouse gases. The Minister of Environment says this is why Nigeria agreed with the decision of other member countries to endorse the United Nations Treaty aimed at reducing greenhouse gas emissions.
And the continuation of rising temperature can spell a catastrophe. Continuation or aggravation of climate change will make even the coronavirus pandemic a child play, because the coronavirus killed the human capital. Climate change killed the people, property, land. Even island nations currently that are in the middle of oceans are gradually losing their land mass.
The agreement, signed by 140 countries across the globe, came into reality with the final endorsement by Nigeria. The minister says the agreement will not have materialized without a great move by the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari, a decision which has since been delivered to the United Nations office in New York.
First of all, congratulations to Nigerians and congratulations to the rest of the world. And we thank Mr. President Muhammadu Buhari.
The intention of this agreement is to cut greenhouse gas emissions by 40% to avoid global warming. In Kaduna, I am Muhammad Umarajingi, NTA News.
Let's now focus on some major achievements as the country continues to celebrate 60 years of independence. The health sector is an important part of national security. Not only does it function to provide adequate and timely medical care, but gives room for the tracking, monitoring and controlling of disease outbreaks. As the country marks its diamond anniversary, Basi Ita Ipan takes a look at the health sector's notable milestones, challenges and prospects.
Western medicine was not formally introduced into Nigeria until 1960, when the Sacred Heart Hospital was established by Roman Catholic missionaries in Abuja. They were of such high quality that by independence in 1960, missionary-owned hospitals were more than those owned by government. 150 years of the introduction of Western medicine in Nigeria, the nation's healthcare service has been characterized by short-term planning. To ensure a functional healthcare system, the present government has in the last 4 years committed huge resources into the sector.
Since the president came in, there's been a lot of improvement. A lot has been achieved in reorganizing and planning for the health sector.
Many presidents had actually promised not to hand over a polio endemic country to the next subsequent president, but only President Muhammadu Buhari has been able to achieve that.
On the HIV sector, we've now, reached a stage where we can say we are on course to controlling HIV epidemic in Nigeria.
Health security is one area that has impacted positively on the country's disease control strategies. Worthy of mention is a success story in the Ebola virus disease, the eradication of wild polio virus, and the remarkable national response to the ongoing global coronavirus pandemic.
So we here are watching our own systems closely and watching what is happening abroad to learn lessons from all sides in building, first of all, our response to public health, and secondly, our health institutions, and particularly the organization.
To strengthen the health system, you can find that unlike a few years ago, 2017, for example, when we had outbreaks of meningitis, we're not seeing those outbreaks that killed a lot of people because we've been able to protect Nigeria.
The National Medical Emergency Service and Ambulance System, arising from the 5% Basic Healthcare Fund, is one of the federal government efforts with great prospect of making healthcare services more accessible and affordable to Nigerians.
Through a number, 112, which we are working with National Communication Commission to establish, and then an ambulance will come to the person's house or to the scene of where they are needed, render first aid, and then take them to a hospital where they will get first aid. All of this without payment.
A turning point in the country's response to HIV and AIDS was the conduct and presentation of the Nigeria's AIDS Indicator and Impact Survey. But the big question is sustainability.
How do we sustain the response? We have come up with strategies on our own. It is very likely that new HIV infection will be reduced to the BRS minimum, and death from HIV will also be curtailed, reduced to the BRS minimum, and that is the goal. Achieving epidemic control is nothing but, controlling these two parameters.
Watch out for the country's journey in the areas of tertiary care and efforts at sustainable healthcare financing towards universal health coverage in the concluding parts of this report. Basi Taikban, NTA News.
From health to security, and the Nigerian army, a symbol of strength and sovereignty, has been protecting Nigerians and Nigeria's territorial integrity against both internal and external aggressions. In this special report, defense correspondent Ismail Musa x-rays the major prospects and challenges of the Nigerian military as the nation marks its 60th anniversary.
The Nigeria's army predates the nation's independence in 1960. From a group of able youths assembled by John Glover in 1863 to protect the then British colony, the military transformed together with the sovereignty of Nigeria to become a strong, formidable fighting force, defending our territorial integrity.
The Nigerian army that at one time was of the 4th division is about 8 today. Part of the development is this center that you see today, and it is in line with global development. If you want to move on, you must do research, and that research leads to development.
Nigeria's 60 years journey of nationhood has been eventful, characterized by socio-economic prosperity and security challenges, on the other hand, that threaten the nation. It is an established fact that the military has played a critical role in sustaining Nigeria's unity, always coming in handy to contain ethno-religious and political crises that threaten the nation's unity and diversity.
This country has come to stay. Apart from the political unity, the cultural unity, the historical affiliation, the economic bonds that have existed within the different parts and amongst the different parts of the country, everything will be done possible by the grace of God.
The thief riots, civil war, Witnessing a crisis, militancy, and the emerging global monster, terrorism, readily come to mind.
In the fight against terrorism and insurgency, they have done marvelously well, because in other militaries, in other armies, take for instance Colombia, had to, contend with the issue of, terrorism and insurgency with the FARC for over 58 years. And we know what is happening in Somalia, what is happening in other parts of the world like Afghanistan, Iraq, and the rest of them. But within a space of limited time, the military was able to decisively deal with these issues. And I think it's something that we should be proud of.
Currently, the military is involved in facilitating internal security challenges in almost all states of the Federation, employing civil-military relations to court support of the citizens. Nigeria's military has for long been noted globally for its role in peacekeeping, especially the stability it has brought in West African region. From being a dependent on foreign soft and hardware for its operations, the Nigerian military has become producer of some of them, cutting costs and offering opportunity to Nigerian investors. There is an increasing optimism amongst the military and the citizens alike that in the next 60 years, Nigerian military will be the pride of not only the nation but the global community. Ismail Musa, NTA News.
The Citizens Action for Good Governance, a non-governmental organization, has commended the strides of President Mahatma Buhari in some key areas of national development. This was made known at an event to mark the 60th independence anniversary of Nigeria in Abuja. Suleiman Abdul Wahab reports.
Citizens Action for Good Governance described President Muhammadu Buhari administration as one that is working for the well-being of citizens in diverse ways.
Use this auspicious occasion of the 60th independence anniversary celebration to commend the effort of our gallant armed forces and service chiefs for their commitment towards protecting the territorial integrity of our nation and stemming the ties of banditry, insurgency, and all forms of criminality. We celebrate the 36 state governors, the members of National Assembly, as well as the State House of Assemblies. They are indeed the symbols of our democracy. We also celebrate the judiciary for helping strengthen and stabilize our democracy.
Nigerians need to unite as one. We need to forget about this religion, ethnicity, and the rest of it.
They also used the opportunity of Nigeria's 60th independence anniversary to commend the effort of the present administration in some key areas such as infrastructure development, fights against corruption, revamping of the economy, and confronting the challenges of insurgency.
If Nigerians choose not to follow the laws, there is no way we will get it right. There is no way you will have a structure that you constructed 60 years ago and will not require innovations.
The earlier we start forgetting about all of that divides us and concentrate on what unites us, because when we look within, we realize that we have more in common than we have differently.
The organization advised citizens to work with the government and keep faith with the administration towards a brighter future of the nation. From Abuja, Suleiman Tobu Abdulhab, NTA News.
And as Nigeria marks 60th anniversary celebrations, proposals are being put forward for constitutional reforms for improved criminal justice administration and electoral accountability to strengthen the country's democracy. Judiciary correspondent Vera Chimuba reports that the proposals are made by the Center for Socio-Legal Studies and civil society organizations at a forum on constitutional reforms.
The 1999 Constitution, no doubt, is replete with several provisions which are antithetical to good governance and proper administration of criminal justice. The proposal for administration of criminal justice reform include
to reduce the workload of the Supreme Court, propose amendments that will improve the well-being and retirement benefits of judges, including the removal of the dichotomy in retirement age between the retirement age of High Court judges and appellate justices.
Professor Akinsheyi George also posited that the recently launched National Ethics and Integrity Policy will only work if the anti-corruption
we also have
greater time to corruption prevention and economic crimes. On the electoral accountability proposal, Dr. Ali Ahmed made the following input.
Separate the office of the Honorable Attorney General of the Federation from that of Minister of Justice. Removal of presiding justices. The Chief Justice of Nigeria, President of the Court of Appeal, Chief Judges of State High Courts and Chief Judge of Federal High Court must no longer be removed under any guise.
Other suggestions include removal of immunity for president and governors that sponsor electoral violence, establishment of an independent electoral prosecutor for electoral offences, and for judges upon elevation to be given fiat to conclude pending criminal cases to avoid them starting de novo. In Abuja, Viera Chumuba, NTA News.
You are watching the news on NTA International. We'll take a quick break right now. Do stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for remaining with us. President Donald Trump doing very well after testing positive for COVID-19, just as the global number of infections continues to rise. Uche Ogochukwu brings us an update on the global health crisis.
The World Health Organization has urged countries to enhance implementation of coronavirus pandemic response measures as the disease continues to wreak havoc around the world, with 2 million newly confirmed cases worldwide each week.
We urge every single leader to strengthen their response, put targeted measures in place that we know can suppress the spread, ensure that health systems and workers are protected.
Tedros Ghebreyesus said the WHO will further support the anti-coronavirus measures across member states through its regional and country offices. The U.S. President Donald Trump has been administered an experimental drug to treat COVID-19, according to a memo from his doctor, and is now in Walter Reed National Military Medical Center for further treatment. However, in a brief video message, President Trump tweeted he is doing very well and in hospital only as a precaution.
I think I'm doing very well, but we're going to make sure that things work out. The First Lady is doing very well. So thank you very much.
Spain's Madrid region commences new preventive and control measures for COVID-19 following a recent surge in infections, which has seen many public hospitals struggling to cope after reaching maximum capacity. Poland has reported 2,367 new coronavirus cases and 34 deaths in the past 24 hours. The country's health ministry says it has seen daily increases above 1,000 since 24th September. 126 new coronavirus cases were detected in 11 states and the Federal Capital Territory in Nigeria, bringing the country's tally to 59,127 confirmed infections. The death toll remains 1,112. Tally collated by the Africa Center for Disease Control shows the continent has 223,455 active cases from the 1,506,945 confirmed cases. Data on the Worldometer coronavirus dashboard indicates the world has 34,958,183 positive infections, out of which 1,034,844 patients lost their lives to the virus. That does it from here. I am Uche Ugochukwu.
Thank you, Uche. Now, since his death on January 30th, 1948, at the age of 78, the people of India around the world have kept the ritual of yearly celebrations of the birthday of Mahatma Gandhi, regarded as the father of India. Kelvin Evonwaye was at the Indian High Commission in Abuja, where a virtual 150th posthumous birthday celebration was held in his honor.
Pictorial depiction of some of the famous quotes of Mahatma Gandhi. He lived largely by those principles, but the 20th century most famous apostle of nonviolence himself met a violent end. However, his virtues of peaceful coexistence, justice for all, and equality had already been planted literally on the minds of vast majority of Indians and admirers around the world.
Not only did Mahatma Gandhi inspire anti-colonial freedom struggles across the world, including in many parts of Africa, he was himself deeply influenced by his experiences in Africa, including in South Africa and Malaysia.
The life of Mahatma is one that has immensely and positively impacted the world and bequeathed mankind with an eternal legacy of righteousness, courage, and resilience.
In a world now rife with violence, discrimination, and terrorism, more Mahatma Gandhis are needed as stabilizing forces.
There are many ways to get whatever you need without confrontation. Approach, peaceful approach. In fact, that is what the country needs right now, right from political class and ethnic, religious, and all the leaders. We thank India for giving the world Mahatma Gandhi.
This year's event in Nigeria held simultaneously in Abuja and Lagos. Kelvin Ewonwaye, NTA News.
Now, the Federal Road Safety Corps has deployed 1,500 personnel to cover the forthcoming governorship election in Ondo State. This is towards achieving a successful, safe, peaceful and hitch-free poll. A statement by the Corps Public Education Officer, Bisi Kazim, notes that the Zonal Commanding Officer Oshubo is to lead the team comprising the Assistant Corps Marshal in charge of federal operations and the Sector Commander, Ondo State. The statement adds that the Corps Marshal, Boboye Oyeyemi, also approved 30 vehicles, including tow trucks, ambulances and other operational vehicles to be deployed to aid the electoral processes in the 18 local government areas of the state. In other news, the advertising industry will henceforth ensure that all practitioners reflect at least 40% of localized content in their productions. This is one of the fallouts of a meeting between the Bureau of Public Service Reforms and the Advertising Practitioners Council of Nigeria, APCON, in Abuja. Adebola Brooksland Sunday reports.
Advertising, a vital marketing tool for business owners to promote their products and services in accordance with the country's advertising code. In 2018, President Muhammadu Buhari signed Executive Order 5 to improve local content in public procurements in science, technology, and innovation.
We have a role to play. We are here to support.
Registrar of APCON, Dr. Olalekan Olumuyiwa Fadolapo, said some multinational organizations are in violation of the code.
Invest in technology there and bring the same ads to Nigeria to come and fly it. Developing foreign materials to speak to the consumers in Nigeria is a really bad case.
You must buy into Nigeria.
Director General of the Bureau wants APCON to look into the direction of the Inter-Ministerial Technical Working Committee on rebranding Nigeria that will help in boosting the nation's image and building a stronger sense of national unity.
Aim at developing a new identity in the minds of the consumers, investors, competitors, and other stakeholders.
Civil service structure is the most strategic structure that supports the entity we call Nigeria. We will develop communication that will reposition the entire structure.
Dasuki Arabi also lauded the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, for supports that made the Bureau emerge first in National Freedom of Information, Transparency and Compliance ranking in the country. Adebola Brooksland Sunday, NTA News.
And Adebola's reports concludes the news on NTA International at this time. Many thanks for watching. Do remember to connect with the NTA, Stand Against Rape and Rapists. I am Dennis Adignui. Thanks for watching.